You're welcome. Anyone else? Yes, Councillor Caradonna and then Councillor Gardner.
That's a tough act to follow, but I
It is.
shall do my best. I'll just remind council that when this came back, it was actually a 17-story proposal originally, and the conversation between council and staff and then the proponent was to actually come back and lower the height because it was seen to be too much, and for me it was too much. At 17 stories, it was not supportable. At 14 stories, it is more supportable, and I think for me meets the threshold of making it to a public hearing. There's a number of things I actually quite like about the proposal. I appreciate the daycare. I think there's some clarity around how big the space is and whether or not that included the indoor-outdoor space can be sorted out. I appreciate the community amenity contributions, which, as I understand it, do exceed what we would normally ask. $700,000 is a lot for the Affordable Housing Reserve Fund and probably gets one project or 50% of a very large project over the line. And that's something that we've done over the last couple of years is help projects get over the line. So that's no small matter. I will also note that I want to hear from the stakeholder groups involved in this proposed development, and namely the James Bay Community Project, which is a social service provider that I've worked with pretty closely since I've been the James Bay liaison. They stand to gain from this in using indoor meeting space. I would love to be able to ask some questions at the public hearing and understand what their stake is in that. $200,000 towards the local area fund, ideally for Peter Paul Park, is also nothing to sneeze at. As the James Bay liaison, I hear quite a bit about how stuck that project is, and there is a strong desire in James Bay to see Peter Paul move forward. So if it is possible to use the funding for that to get it over the line, I think that that would be great. Also note here too that I'm happy that it more or less would meet the family housing policy. 25% of the units would be 2 and 3 bedroom, especially the townhouses, the 3-story townhouses that I think are a little bit more conducive to family living. So that's a positive. As I've tracked the housing approvals over the last 2 years, I'll note that we've approved about 2,140 units of stratified or single-family home or home ownership units, and we've approved 3,746 market rental. So we've approved a lot more rentals than we have stratified, which I think is a good thing because the city actually just basically didn't build rentals for about 30 years. But that's not to say that we don't need stratified units. There's still quite a bit of demand for it. I hear about it all the time. And seniors are going to continue to want to move here and retire here, coming here from Manitoba and Ontario and other places. That's not going to change. I think that if this eventually is approved, that the townhouses will be bought up right away by families who want to live in James Bay and send their kids to James Bay Community School or South Park Family School. The mixed use, I think, will activate that corner. I think there's a lot to recommend itself. I do know that the density pushes things here, but I do think at 14 stories, it would more or less fit in with its neighbors, Laurel Point, the James, the Coast, Admiral Inn, Grand Pacific, that are all around that height. So to me, I'm not as scandalized as some other people are. But on balance, there's enough here for me to send it to public hearing and hear from the proponent and hear from the other stakeholder groups and hear from the public about what people's thoughts are. Thanks.